So let's look at self-help then. So with self-help, what you want to be looking at doing is, it's a bit like insurance, all right? I'll use the an analogy of having insurance. If you don't have any house insurance and your house gets broken into and all your items, belongings get stolen, your TV, your PC, your laptop, and etc., you then go into the if only I had, if only I had insurance. And that's a bit like with self-help, because when you may be sitting watching this going, I've never had any problems with mental ill health, I'm absolutely fine, and yeah, they're tough times at the moment, but I'm managing it. Brilliant. I'm really glad that actually you're like that. Problem being, there's millions and millions of people who aren't like that, and also you never ever know when you're gonna suddenly begin struggling with your mental ill health, especially with all the uncertainties we've got right now. And that's why it's like the insurance. You can never sit there and say you're never 100% going to be robbed. So, and especially when it comes to your mental health and poor mental health, you can never 100% say that you're not going to struggle with mental ill health or mental illness. So therefore, identifying what you can put into place, what tools, techniques, coping strategies, what things you can put into place for your self-help prior to anything happening, that time spent will be invaluable. And I explain a little bit why now. Firstly, acceptance and asking for help. Going through the process of accepting that it's okay to ask for help, that you're not weak asking for help, just like it's not weak talking about your emotions and talking about mental health. Going through the process of accepting that whilst you're still in a good place and whilst you're managing things is going to be invaluable for you. Trust me, it's taken me a long time for me to be able to accept that it's not a bad thing asking for help, and that actually you're creating more damage. You'll be a weaker person should you not ask for help and gain the support of people. When you're in the military, if you're pinned down in a firefight and you're struggling, you call up support, you call up backup, and you get people in to be able to help you to win the firefight. And it's exactly the same kind of thing. When you're struggling as an individual, call up support, call for backup. And that's all you're doing. So going through that process, because you don't want to be in a bad place, your self-care hasn't worked, you're still declining, you're in consistent low days, possibly even fighting the demons of darkness, as I call them, or God forbid you're struggling in a crisis, then trying to accept that, to then go through trying to accept that it's okay to ask for help, it's a really bad time to do it. So go through that process first for acceptance, and that it's okay to ask for help. And then the second thing what you want to be doing is identifying who you can turn to and who you can ask for help. Now, not to put people into categories or labels or anything like that, but typically you have two types of people. You've got Ivan, who I would turn to Ivan to generally chat shit, get stuff off my chest, have a bitch and a moan or whatever, and that's the kind of person, that's what Ivan's there for. Pull up a sandbag and just have a moan. I wouldn't turn to Ivan about anything really personal and about relationship problems and stuff like that. Not the kind of guy that I'll go to. Irene, great names these, aren't they? Irene, Irene's the person that I would go to if I've got something, deep set, something really personal, and I really wouldn't be comfortable speaking to anyone else, I'll go to Irene. So, you know, typically they're the kind of people that we have. It took me a long time, especially with the military, where, you know, everyone's there for one another, to then come out and go into society where, because you've got a friendship with someone, doesn't automatically mean they're there for you blanket for everything. Because they've got their own shit going on. They've got, you know, there's too many variables. They've got their own family. They've got you know, their own lives. They've got all this kind of stuff. And it's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different way of life, culture, and a whole load of stuff. So it's taken me a long time to learn this. But yeah, so we've got, you know, there's friends, different friends are there for different reasons. And it's identifying who's there for what, you know? And but doing that when you're in the right place to be able to do that. And then from there, it's which coping mechanisms do you need to employ and when do you need to employ them. You know, I spoke about before in self-care about panic attacks and identifying when I need to actually start acting rather than being kind of, no, I'm just going to face my fears. It's not taking control of me. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to carry on, you know, and then actually identifying, yeah, no, I can't beat it this time. And so I actually need to do something about this now, and I need to interact. And it's exactly the same with self-help. Identifying when this is getting too much. You know, if I don't do something soon, this is going to go it's going to go south really, really quickly. And what coping mechanisms, strategies, whatever terminology you want to use, what works in what situations. You know, so I've identified when I'm in a lot of pain, I now have set things that I do. I've got set coping strategies, coping mechanisms that I put into place when I'm in a lot of pain. And again, when I'm in a lot of pain, that can really impact my mental health, and it can trigger all kinds of stuff. So I need to do it, because otherwise I could be very quickly the demons can take control, and before I know it, it's 3-4 days later, and I'm having suicidal thoughts. So, you know, it's not so much like that anymore because I've identified all this kind of stuff. Sometimes I can't, or, you know, can't 100% manage it all the time. It doesn't work that way. You know, we're human beings, we're not robots. But identifying all this stuff is really good, is it? And then how bad are you? You know, be honest. Not a time to be lying to yourself when you need self-help. All right, really bad time to do that. So actually being 100% honest with yourself and go, right, hell, you know, how bad is this?